while we wait for the virtual bride to conclude, and I have already cleaned the computer I showed you, and now I have also worked on the game boxes. Remember this? So this basically are those boxes from the unboxing that I've done on the garage. So it's in perfect shape now. It's very clean and everything. So I just cleaned them all up. So this is the Mac OS 8 box. As you can see, it looks like new after the work I've done on it. So yeah, very good to have this. This is the Van Dobler box. Also like very clean and good as new. Yeah, there is some writings here that someone has done in the past. It's okay, like I'm not gonna try to remove it, risking damaging the box. And this is theme park, the theme park simulator. Yeah, it's in perfect condition as well. So this is it, and now I'm going to work on the zip drive. So I have already cleaned the external part of it, but I have to open it up to see the mechanism and see that inside is actually clean enough. So to open the zip drive, there are no like screws or anything like this. It's very, very straightforward. Just have to like unlock the tabs on the side. I have already done this, and in the other side, the only one missing now is this one here. So just use like a credit card or something like this. Ideally something plastic, so that you don't risk damaging the case or breaking the tab. Just force it a little bit, not too much. If it doesn't go, don't force it. That rule goes for everything, right? Because again, this is plastic, and forcing it too much might break the tab, rendering the case useless afterwards. So this last step here is a little bit trickier, so I'm going to be needing something a little stronger than the plastic thing here. So I'm going to get a knife, and let's see how that goes. So I have a knife. Again, like ideally you're going to be using something plastic. Okay, it's just that this tab here is very, very stubborn, and okay. Now you open it up. You have to be careful with this side here. This side, there is something holding the plastics together. Again, it's no screws or anything. It's just like a little tab here. So be careful not to break the plastic, and it will eventually like come off. Yeah, no breakings or anything. So it's all good here. And this is the internals. So it doesn't look too bad, as you can see, like there is no dust or anything inside, right? But still need some cleaning, and I'm gonna do it. So all the mechanisms look intact. The head and everything like looks okay. Yeah, it requires some cleaning, but other than that, like it all looks good. Of course, this doesn't guarantee that the zip drive is actually going to be working. Like I haven't tested it yet, so it might as well just be broken, and it might have the click of death problem. There is not fixable at all. So in that case, I'm just going to keep it for parts maybe. It is useful, to keep those for parts, because there are some things that can be interchangeable with other ones. Like for example, it's very hard to get SCSI zip drives like this one here. But you can, for example, like get an IDE or IDE or parallel port. It's not IDE, it's parallel port zip drive, which is fairly available in the market. Like you can buy it on eBay with they go by with very good prices normally. And what you can do is you can actually transplant the whole head assembly into this SCSI enclosure here. So just get rid of the defective part here and you replace it with a parallel one. I have done this before and it works beautifully. So yeah, it's always, you know, a good idea to keep this even if it is not working, because it might be a good donor for parts in a future project or something like this. And again, like SCSI elements are getting harder and harder to get a hold of. So always a good idea to, you know, keep them close. I might or not. No, I'm not gonna do anything with the head here. So I was thinking about maybe like, yeah, I'm going to wet a little bit the head here with isopropyl alcohol. So isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to be using the swab. So this swab here. So the zip drive has the head actually rests in a place where it's self-cleaning. That's the whole idea of it. And all you need to do really is wet this a little bit with isopropyl alcohol, and that should take care of cleaning the head for you, so you don't have to actually touch the head or anything like that. Okay, so I think I finished. I'm done cleaning here. I'm going to reassemble the case, so I'm just going to do a quick yeah, it looks very good from the inside, to be honest. Like I was expecting it to be much worse from what I saw, you know, in terms of dust and everything, like but it's incredibly okay. This requires some additional cleaning here as well. I just use this brush to brush away the dust particles. Most of the time this is more than enough. And that's it, it's good as new. So reassembling it now. And before I do it, again, let me just get rid of all the dust speckles from the internal case here. Yeah, before I put this back together like this. So putting it back should be fairly straightforward as well. You know, there is a lot of history about those drives, and it's quite interesting, like the way that Omega actually managed to create a market fuzz about those drives in the past. So as soon as they were released, like a lot of people were interested and actually started buying them as a very good alternative to store like larger amounts of data. But the problem is that in the short run, they didn't prove to be very reliable. So there is a problem known as the click of death that basically causes the head of the zip drive to detach from the enclosure, from the assembly. And because of that, like when you put a zip disk into the drive, because the head is loose, it actually crunches the disk and rendering it unusable. And the thing is, if you take that disk that has been damaged by this problem and you put that into another zip drive that is healthy, because the disk has been munched, you know, because of the defective head in the other one, it actually damaged the head on the good one as well. So it's kind of like a contagious issue, and it gets propagated over and over and over. So as long as you have like a defective disk, that's basically how it's going to be. And that's a thing that people actually took a long time to realize in the past. So they also didn't want to lose their data. So they really wanted to recover it. So they used the bad disk into new zip drives, and the problem reoccurred. And yeah, it was like a nightmare. So Iomega actually lost a lot of money because of this. They have to honor their warranty, and of course, and sometimes even like lawsuits about data loss and stuff like that. And well, that really damaged the company. But they did have very good products, like the zip drive. When it works, it's really amazing. Like it could hold like 100 megabytes of data in a time where we were still using floppy disks, like a 1.5 megabyte capacity, and then suddenly you have a small drive like this, being able to hold like almost 60 times more data in a disk that was basically the same size as the floppy disk. So yeah, that was fairly amazing for the time. Okay, so it's all cleaned up and ready for the testing. So I'm going to record another video testing this zip drive here. You're going to see it whether or not it works. I do have some zip disks, so I'm not really like worrying about, you know, if the disk is, I saw the head here, it doesn't look bad, like it's in the right place, it doesn't look loose or anything like that, so I have a good feeling about this. It might work, so let's see. I'll get back to you. So it's about time for me to also get back to the retro writing thing there, so I should remove it from the sun now and take a look. I already have you know, like made comparison with the new bezel and the retro-brighted case, and it looks much better already. So not sure whether or not it's going to match perfectly the color, but it looks so much better. So as soon as I assemble everything, I'll get back to you, and then we can test the zip drive as well, and I will show you this whole thing reassembled. So the next step after this is working on the monitor. So I have to probably disassemble the whole monitor. It will need some retro writing as well, because the marks that that support is going to leave on top, and also like yeah, it's in a very bad shape in terms of coloring, and it doesn't have a lot of scratches though. It's more like the coloring thing that is really annoying. So I might be able to make it look a little bit better. Again, like not a big fan of retro writing, but sometimes it's something that it is worth it to do it, I think. So I'll get back to you guys as soon as I am ready to record some the next steps. Talk to you later. Okay, so now I'm going to test the zip drive that I cleaned before. So it has been cleaned, as you saw in the previous videos, and so let me first, so it's already powered on. It's connected on the back of this Performa here. Haven't yet tested it. I just hope it will work. So here goes. Like the first thing I'm going to test is the mechanism. And if there is a click of death, we are going to just find it out right away, because as soon as I slot this in, if the click of death is there, it is going to try just keep clicking basically. And that's basically an indication that this is hopeless. So let's see. Perfect. So only one click. It's basically the heads moving out and accessing the magnetic material, and that's pretty much it. So it's working as expected, at least on the loading part. Let's eject and see. Perfect as well. So those elements are working. Whether or not this is actually reading and writing to disks, I don't know yet. So I will load it in, power on this Performa, and see if it mounts the zip disk into the desktop. So let's see. Let's wait for it to boot it up. Okay, so this is the moment. Let's see if it mounts the disk onto the desktop. So this is the clock thing because the battery is dead. That's fine. Perfect. So this is the zip drive and the zip disk mounted onto the desktop. Let me just close the launcher here. So yeah, I can see all the elements that I have recorded on the disk before. So let's try recording something new onto this disk. So let me see, applications. So let's try to move or copy Adobe Photo Deluxe into the zip drive, the zip disk. Yeah, the LEDs on the zip drive, they are flashing, which tells me that it's actually writing something. And yeah, it's actually going fairly fast. No strange noises or anything, no clicks of death. It looks like it's just working perfectly. This actually seems to be working better than the one that I had before. Like, it looks a little more reliable, like doesn't have any strange noises or anything like that. So once it finishes copying, then I'm going to do the other way around. Maybe like, actually I'm happy with the test, so I'm not going to keep this for too long. This was a very simple video, or a very simple test, and that's it, basically. Yeah, it sounds perfect. So I'm going to eject this the zip disk now. So let's eject it by moving it to the trash. Works flawlessly, and that's it. So very happy. Just got almost a brand new zip drive. So yeah, amazing. So power this down and off we go. So that's it for this video, guys.